지금 다운로드 받으세요.
So we're back here at the SSL, about to jump into our final matches of the night. This is probably going to be all 4 matches played, I would expect.
Yeah, it seems that way. Everything is really, really close. The only things that we know are that Lucera is out and that Lucera is eliminated and that Zest has advanced. I guess I should stop using the word out because there's 2 meanings there. But yeah, that's all we know. There's 4 matches left to go. In fact, going to mark Zest as a win because I didn't do that earlier.
Yeah, and like everybody is neck and neck. Maru's 4-5, Super's 4-4, Reality's 4-4, Hero is 5-3. He's got the best chance of getting through. He just needs to win 1 more. But then it's a fight between the other 3. I'm not really sure who's going to make it through.
Anything can happen. Maru is on his last life, though, so if he loses his next match, he's out. Luckily for Maru fans, there's a little while before that's going to happen. His next set is set 29. The next 2 are going to be Reality versus Super, and then Super versus Lucera. So for Super, the Super versus Lucera match matters a lot. For Lucera, not at all, because he's already eliminated. So taking a look, a very impressive run for Zest. 6-3 with 4 away wins.
Yeah, he dropped his 2 games against, well, he's dropped 3, but the first one he dropped was against Lucera, his teammate, and the other 2 were both Super, and they were both PvPs, and they were both weird. So, you know, not the worst games to lose.
Now, if Hero ends up losing...
Oh, Hero's 5-4.
Yeah, if Hero ends up losing his next match, then it's going to be... Is that actually his final match? Is the one versus Zest? Yeah. So Zest, Hero's final match is that Zest match. So we're gonna have that one no matter what. And that's kind of interesting because a lot of people would say, well, it doesn't matter for Zest, he's already out. I'm like, I think it matters a lot because Hero's one of the toughest people he will face later on in the tournament. And to eliminate him here would be huge. Eliminating one of the toughest pro opponents from the round of 16 would be awesome for him.
Of course. He wants to get rid of Hero. He doesn't want to face him later on. Of course. And here's Reality. He's got 2 games left, 1 against Super, 1 against Maru. TVP and a TVT. Did quite well against Hero, actually, in that game on Dusk Towers. I really liked that play. And he picked it against Hero. And he's picked it here against Super once again.
All right, Super. You know, he was one of the dark horses you were looking at going into this group, saying you thought he was going to get out. I thought there was definitely a chance. He still has an opportunity. He will have to defeat both Reality and Lucera. If he defeats one of them, I think he still has a chance.
This game is more important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this one is the more important one. I think if he actually loses the other one, he can't get out. Because he only has 1 away win.
Yeah, it's going to be close either way. You know, there's a chance that he might tie someone who's also got 1 away win, and we have to do a tiebreaker match. Is very likely. But this is going to be an interesting one. I really liked Reality's play against Hero on this map. And if he can beat Hero, he can beat Super here. So let's see how it's going to go down on Dusk Towers once again. Here we are on, you guessed it, Dusk Towers. Down here in the bottom left.
I didn't say anything.
It is Reality, the Terran player in the red.
And up to the top right in blue is, of course, his opponent, Super.
And he's going to have to pull out all the stops here towards the end. He has an opportunity to get out right here. Not on this game, but he needs to win this one and the next one, and it's definitely possible. He's done very well against strong opponents to the point where now he's only got to defeat Reality and Lucera, arguably, you know, the other weaker players in this group.
Very true. Now, you know, in that last game, we just saw a very different style from Zest. Just kind of aggro, and ended up taking this. This is going to be Reality versus Super, and Super has shown us more like passive play. He tries to get his upgrades up and it doesn't attack as often. So I'm curious to see like what's going to happen in the late game, because the mistake they made in the previous match they played, or the mistake Super made, was taking fights he didn't need to take when he was ahead in economy, and also failing to tech to stop what Reality has specifically shown, which is the faster advanced ballistics tech, and just using Liberators, like sieging them with his army, but using them so safely that it was hard for Super to engage. And Super never tech to deal with that. He just wanted to kind of break through and fight, and sometimes in bad positioning. So that's kind of what I'm looking at to see if they'll play differently, or Super specifically. I think Reality will play a very similar style, but let's wait and see.
And yeah, I mean, Super's been watching a lot of this TVP now from Reality. Obviously Reality has to play 3 different Protosses, so he's showing a lot of it. I'm sure Super was doing his research, watching all the games, studying, making sure that he's aware of how to defeat this style, or at least he's got some sort of better idea coming into this game.
This SCV is just hanging out. Super does not see him. He does not have vision, so he's going to be able to get a secondary scout. Looks like he sensed that it was there, and there he does see it. This SCV isn't going to see much, just going to see that robo, which is pretty normal. But still, it's nice to have that confirmation that there's a robo. Because now it's much less likely there's a Twilight Council. And now, as the SCV dies, he does make the Twilight Council. But he knows it's not like a fast rush Twilight Council, most likely. And, obviously he still has limited information with that. He's going to grab a Siege Tank here.
This is Reality saying, like, oh, my build didn't work in that last game. I want to try it again.
Yeah.
Because this is the same exact build.
Same map. Hero had DTs. His turrets were late. Let's see if...
or rather, Zest.
Yeah, sorry, guys. There's like 3 pros in this group, and I am jet-lagged, and we've been casting for who knows how many hours.
We've almost finished our 8th hour.
Yep. So, please...
It's been a fun day.
Please forgive me, guys. It's not been my best day by any means.
I mean, the games have been good, so it's been entertaining. We've been hanging in there.
All right, there's the pickup from the rally even, and he's going across with that same army comp. This time, actually, without even that safety eBay. Last time he scouted the Twilight Council, didn't scout the Dark Shrine. Now he's going to scan. He sees the Chrono and he's like, I'm not going to believe that. You did that last game. But he's not going to have a turret with this. He's not going to have a turret with this. I'm curious if he's just going to commit and say, forget it. I don't care if there's DTs or not.
Like the cancel here from Super. Saying, like, okay, no, I can't hold that base. Definitely not.
He wants that mothership core. There were no pylons nearby, so a pretty reasonable move to try to go for that. He's going to soft contain with a bunker here. Blink is almost done, though, and that's the scary part. Okay, 2 more Stalkers coming in. He's got a decent buffer for the tank with these Marines, and more are rallying across the map. We can always funnel back down into that bunker if things get nasty here.
Here comes Super. He's fighting against this, but even that low of a number of Stalkers can't really fight the Marines well with the medevac there.
Yeah. He doesn't see the Observer, it looks like. The second Siege Tank makes this a lot scarier. The second medevac as well. There's even a 3rd Siege Tank that is produced right now. I don't know if he's going to end up rallying that or if he's going to keep that at home, because obviously Blink can finish. Warp Prisms can come out. If he doesn't actually have any defense at home, it could be the end of his life. So he is going to rally everything else at home, it looks like, while setting up this soft contain with a second bunker.
That's so good against Blink Stalkers, too. If you get a high enough number of Blink Stalkers, you can blink on a couple of tanks, eat the damage from the Marines, and then eventually kill them, right? But if there's 2 bunkers, you're not really going to easily be able to do that. Although this time, he actually does. Yep. Going to get both of the tanks.
The second bunker wasn't ready yet, but even still, the fact that it's ready isn't that significant. It's only 4 Marines. And this is going to get wiped out here.
Wow, okay.
But this wasn't all for naught, because he does have a 3rd CC finishing up back at home. The problem is that he doesn't have stim tech, he doesn't have, eBays, he doesn't have upgrades, and Super is just going to keep harassing him. The fact that he has a 3rd CC will only be useful for making extra SCVs themselves. He won't be able to drop or get that extra saturation for quite some time.
Second Observer scanned here, nicely done. Going to deny any high ground vision so that Super can't really poke that easily if he wants to. I think there is a mothership core, yes, but he probably is keeping that at home.
This is nice damage. 3 free probes. There was not a pile in position. There's still not one. It's being produced right now. It looks like he's just barely out of range there of the probes. Such a waste there. Barrier gets popped here. He blinks and he commits, kills the medevac. There's 2 tanks here in tank mode. There's still a decent amount of Marines as well. The Warp Prism could warp in more. If he has Warpins available, he definitely should be.
Yeah, there he goes. More Stalkers, it looks like, is the key. And he blinks in. He's going to get both of these tanks. And now there's only Marines without Stim.
Yep. And that is just so much damage here done. It's not the end of the game because all these Stalkers are low. Another medevac pops out. A siege tank is on the way. But it's time to get that tech lab spinning, okay? That's what needs to happen.
Spin that tech lab. Come on. Okay, there you go.
It is. It's not really spinning as much as it's like flashing. I don't know, but it needs to get to work. They need to get researching.
Yeah,
over there in
researching.
that tech lab. Trying to figure out how to make stim drugs applicable to prisoners, ex-cons in Space Marine suits fighting against Protoss aliens. That's what they need to do.
Seems simple enough.
Like, where's the salaries coming from the minerals and the gas? They just need to get to work. Okay, They got paid. Now it's time to get to work. And the tempo of this game is by far controlled by Super right now because he controls the third base. He controls. He has his own third base up. He's getting glaives. He's got warp prisms on the way.
He might even be able to kill Reality here in a bit. If he gets all of those gateways online and he breaks the front. I like this turret and putting the tank a little bit farther because you deny the vision and then the tank keeps the Stalkers away.
But it's a Band-Aid solution because he still can't take his third base. And I guess the idea here is he's going to take the third base, and if things get nasty, he can fall back. To his ramp, his turret and stuff. He's going to make another turret down here. That Liberator does finally get killed back at the base after killing just 2 more probes. Oh no, it's actually not killed. But he pulled the probes away, so he's not getting any more kills. I mistakenly took that as the Liberator had died. Very quick reaction versus the overcharge. Very nicely done. Okay, here's the attack. There's a siege tank here, though, and a lot of bio. The lack of stim makes this difficult, but not impossible to hold. In fact, Super not able to do much more than kill a turret.
Well, he's pushing up here. Look at that gigantic warp, and that's all the gateways finally coming online.
Look at that placement on that supply depot. It's hard to actually go around the backside. He's going to commit to the front. Nice micro on the siege tank. SCV is coming off the line here. Those Adepts here at the front finally starting to fade, but so many SCVs killed. And even if he has to leave, this is a big win in economy damage.
And he's got more where that came from. He's not done with this push. Adepts being warped in. It looks like he wants to shade on top of that tank. Reality's been good about picking that up and saving it, but I'm not sure if there's enough.
Now that second tank coming down way too late for the fight. But it looks like the Stalkers are actually going to fight SCVs on the left side, not participating versus the Army, and they could get cut off here. He doesn't have a recall or anything. He's going to blink, but Reality could just chase. Warp Prism is going to get chased down here as well.
Reality has a ton of units. He might just be able to walk across the map here. I'm not sure if he knows 100%, and he has saved that third base, so maybe he just wants to macro up here, but Super's taking a 4th base, and Reality is on 36 workers, so I think he definitely needs to find some sort of damage here.
This is the biggest boon for Heroes, that he was able to keep that Warp Prism alive. It almost went down there. If there were more Marines, and if he had not pulled it away immediately, it would have died. The fact that this is still here means that he can't just walk across the map like you said. And, out the Prism goes. Keeps Reality at home, forcing him to stim and chase. He's taking a 4th base. Definitely Super stayed too long there. And Reality, once he moved that second siege tank down, had a lot more firepower. But still, all those SCVs were killed. And it's going to be hard for him to even make Liberators with the advanced ballistics he's about to have. He is producing 2 at a time, but that means he has no other production. Look at the production tab. He's not making any bio. He has stim now, but no combat shield, so it's just a little while before Reality can put direct pressure on, especially because these Adept drops just keep hitting him hard.
Yeah, coming in here. Oh, man, he loses the Warp Prism and all the Adepts inside.
Super with some sloppy play here from ahead.
And now with the Advanced Ballistics online, he's going to stop the mining at the backdoor base. Super can't fight here. He has to back off. Robotics Bay is the tech here, but he still has nothing to deal with the Liberator. Looks like, okay, finally Reality is getting this online.
2 photon overcharges out of range are better than 1, I guess. And Stargate coming up, finally getting that Tempest tech out to respond to this. Maybe even Void Rays first initially to deal with the Volibears that are attacking his mineral lines, but getting Tempest out for fighting, you know, in the late game versus this army comp in general, definitely going to be something you want, especially when you're up in bases like this. You have that extra gas. You can afford to do things like this while you're pressuring with these Adepts. Nice wall there by Reality. We've seen a few Terrans today miss the boat on hitting that before the Adepts come in. 4 Liberators at a time coming out, all with advanced ballistics.
And you see Super continues to scout up here. He wants to see exactly what units he has and if he can slip on by. But Reality's been good about that wall, as you were saying, and
yeah, if he doesn't lower the wall, then the reinforcements can't come down. So he's hoping that after he sends a few reinforcements down, that he's missing it.
Oh,
speaking of missing it,
second scan used even.
Yeah,
really dislikes those observers.
I think it's a fair point though, or a fair trade, whatever way you want to put it. I think Reality should definitely be moving his main base to the 4th base location. I know it was risky for a while, but it's safe enough now. He needs to identify that, because otherwise the amount of economy extra Super is getting from his own 4th is just really starting to explode. Keep in mind, though, that Super has still not dealt with that Liberator at the 3rd base. Still there. 3 kills, no
still
mining.
Chilling. Okay, finally the Phoenix is out.
Takes out 1 at the top. And we'll finally take this one out as well. Liberation Zone's coming up here. This is not a fight Super wants to take. This is how he lost the previous series, is taking unnecessary fights. Don't do it, Super.
And it looks like he wants to fight too. You know, he's
I know.
trying to pick off units. Lance, extended thermal lance is not even done. Finally it finishes, but he's only got 1 Colossus here in this army. Super needs to be so careful about this. There's so much on the line. He needs to win this game and the next.
There are twice as many Marauders in this army as there are Marines, too. There's so much firepower in here for Reality. Upgrade-wise, it is +2 to 1-1. With +1 armor, about to finish, with +2-2 for Reality, also about to finish. Super having to retreat here. He's getting bullied across the map by this large Terran army, because, again, he doesn't have tech to deal with advanced ballistics. It's almost like he forgot that upgrade was a thing. He struggled to defend with it, defend the harass with it. And is he just going to fight here again? I don't think so, Super. You got to get out of here, man.
I thought he was going to be forced into that one. I thought he was just going to go for it. I mean, he ate so much damage there. And now, like...
2-2's almost finished to 2-1. He's not dealing with the ballistics on defending his probes or on fighting in the middle of the map. Look at this. Here we go again. Look at all those liberation zones.
But look at all that bio bunched up and very low. The medevac's actually not healing, and Super is going to pull around the side here.
He doesn't have anti-air anymore. Those stalkers need to get in here. Okay. Barely gets enough anti-air to win that fight.
Oh, that hurts. Okay. He is going to be able to catch them. There he goes. And now Super's actually in a pretty decent spot. There's not that many Liberators left over, only 1.
Siege Tank's doing some serious work here, though. He needs to keep that bio alive. That Liberator at the back doing damage. This is 2-2 versus 1-2. And
there
that Colossus comes up.
Yeah, he's just going to wipe out everything here. And it looks like Super, with another warp in, he wants to push across the map now. Still very even in supplies and army supply. And Super definitely can't kill him here.
Such a late lift on the main base as well. The observer just highlighted that. Like that base should have been mining for this whole time. But he was too timid. Even while he was fighting, he didn't have the multitasking to drop that out there while he was, you know, sieging up and forcing Super to take awkward fights. He was doing very well. But imagine how much more of an army he could have after those trades if he had the economy from this extra base. How many more Liberators and Marauders he could have with this. And still, Super, I keep calling him Hero because I'm tired and we're cast 3 Colossus in this group.
Hero played 2 games ago.
Yeah.
Or 3 games ago.
Super is really reluctant to make Tempest tech. Just so reluctant to do that. I think it might be the death of him in this game. It's because this game is by no means over. No cancel on this base, by the way.
Yeah, this game is definitely not over. I love this damage that Super is doing here. 22 kills on the SCVs, bringing him down to 19, which is not a number that you can saturate 2 bases with. So he's, you know, really struggling here to get his economy up and going. You can see he's making only SCVs at this point and has a a bank of 1,000 gas that he can't spend.
Looks like what Super is relying on is killing the ground army with his Colossi so quickly that the Stalkers have there's no buffer for the Liberators. The Stalkers can just blink in and kill them. There's not very many Marines in this.
There's one Marine in there. Oh boy.
Stalker's over here. It looks like he's going to try to trade with the Phoenix's even lift. And down goes the medevac. That was a huge blow to the army of reality because when you look at the supplies, the only thing he has going for him is his army. And the only thing in that's important is that his army comp is better because there's still no Tempest to deal with Liberators. But with all these Colossi, they need buffers, or excuse me, all these Stalkers, they need buffers. Losing bio like that is very painful. As reality is literally hanging by a thread in this game.
Yeah, and now the Colossus count is getting so high. I mean, even 3 is high at this point. That tiny bio ball is going to disappear. And if he could just blink behind the Liberators after the bio ball goes down, it's like, well, maybe you don't need those Tempests after all. He's definitely making this composition work.
I think what reality needs to do is... Well, there's a lot of things he needs to do. One of them, I'd say, is to keep his bio back because the Protoss army can't break this Liberator zone yet. It's not big enough. He doesn't have enough Stalkers. 7 Liberators versus 13 Stalkers. It's still going to be a tough challenge with even a little bit underneath it. So if the Colossi and the Stalkers come in, it's not going to be a winning fight. The Adepts are doing a number on his economy. I'd also like to see him take his backdoor base and fly it down to the 6 o'clock base. He needs more money, like, so desperately, and there's no other way he's going to get it except lifting one of his bases and moving it somewhere else. The only one that's not mining is the one to the bottom left. It's hard to do all these things at the height of this game where any mistake, any movement, any control problem costs him the game. But I do think he needs that. Look at this sensor tower. He's smart enough to put that down because he knows he can actually cater towards Adept Shades or big, all-in movements here. This time he has 19 Stalkers, a lot more than before. Look at where... he's moving. Every time he sees the units move on his sensor tower, he's setting up to defend. Ooh, this turns Super around. This is a huge win.
He just needs to get those Phoenixes over there. They were just idling behind the 4th base of reality, but now they are going to deal with it. I love that Super just backs off. He makes a bigger army, groups it all up together, takes another base, and now he's really extending that lead. I'm not even sure that he'll attack before he's maxed. He doesn't necessarily need to. It's not like reality's aggressively taking bases.
He's not taking them at all.
Yeah. So I actually like Super's play here. We're just like, no, I'll just wait.
It's like he's so desperate for gas, too, that he's not... He knows that if he lifts that base, it's going to take a long time to float, and that's going to be a lot of gas mining he's missing. He hasn't taken the gases on this base either. Oh, he's moving. This is a really dangerous position for him to be, sieging up like this, but he's got to do something. Okay, so many liberation zones. If Super misclicks, he's going to take a ton of damage.
That he will. Reality's still on pretty low economy, although he is slowly beginning to rebuild that count. Looks like some Adepts are actually in the 3rd base.
I think it's Phoenixes, actually.
Is it?
That's why nothing's really dying. He got like 2 kills with them.
Yeah. Well, he needs them to deal with the Liberators. He never killed that Liberator.
Okay, here we go. Liberation zone's not fully covering these Stalkers. There's so many Stalkers here. There are a lot of Mirage on the ground, but this Colossus count is too much to deal with here. And it looks like finally Super will win this game and close it out.
Really nicely done there. Just waiting it out, waiting until he had enough to 100% one-shot all the Liberators, even after losing a lot of his Stalkers in the fight. Just having that extra. And all the Colossi survive. There's no way that reality can hold on to this one.
Nope, that's going to be it here.
Reality taking another loss, and Super getting 1 win away from making it into the next round. GG.
And that's an away win. There you go.
There you go.
Super was never pressured there at the end because reality had to turtle, but because reality didn't get another base, he could never keep up with his army. So eventually it was just a matter of, I have so much stuff, it doesn't matter, I blink in. And the liberation zones were kind of all clumped up in one location, so half the Stalkers were, safe. Even if they were all in liberation zones, you just had so many, the Liberators couldn't kill them fast enough even they wanted to. So 2 away wins for Super. He's on match point. Hero's on match point. Maru needs 2 wins.
So
he has to win this, and then he has to hope for the tiebreaker win.
Yeah. So we are 3 games away from finishing out the group. We are going to go into Dust Towers again. Sorry, guys. Super did pick this against Losira, an interesting pick, actually.
It's not even the last time, though, because we're going to see it in set 30 after the next match anyways. Losira is out of the group. If he is able to defeat Super here, though, that'll put Super on 5-5.
Yeah. And Losira is going to be fighting really hard in this one. He doesn't really care about Super, what his position is in the tournament or whatever. He just wants to win for pride. He just wants to win. He wants to look good. He doesn't want to get wrecked here by Super.
I'm trying to think if there's a possible tiebreaker scenario. I mean, I know there is. I'm trying to think of what the circumstances are. If
I don't know.
Maru,
You go ahead and do.
Okay, so if Maru beats Reality, then they'll both be on 5-5, if I'm not mistaken.
Reality will be out.